going live. We're live, and it's not 5 a.m., but this is the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, and I am Greg Mester, Scrum Master and Agile Coach. And today we're going to talk about growing mindset and PI planning mistakes. PIP, 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 PIP. Maybe take my safe certification away. I like PIP. PIP's a good name. Good. It's a word you can call PIP. PI planning, PIP. So what do we talk about here on 5? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about growing mindset, talk about reading some books and stuff like that, and PI planning mistakes, because Tom, one of our followers and someone I've coached before in a class, was asking about PI planning and PI planning mistakes and expectations or outcomes and common mistakes. So I'm going to cover a couple of them, not a lot. Apparently I have 24 episodes talking about PI planning. One day I'll make a little thing of a bunch of little small clips of PI planning specific episodes. But here we talk about Scrum and Agile in a practical and tactical way on the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. This is our 570th episode, and we'd like to have fun, bring value to the customer in a way that we're not working crazy hours, and get you home to family and friends so you can have fun and do other things and explore the world, right? And today we're just exploring the world of Agile. And so let's talk about growth mindset. So I was reading this Agile Coaching book by Rachel Davies and Liz Sedley. In case you want to know the name of the book. It's actually a really good book. It's an easy read, even for someone like me who has a real rough time staying awake for reading. So I actually read a couple of chapters of it last night. I'm going to try to finish the rest of it this week. It was interesting. The reason why I'm saying it's a good one and I want to share it, because I was reading it to talk about how do you do as a new coach. I said, yep, that's what I do. And one of the things they mentioned I thought was amazing. Well, not amazing, but just interesting in this day and age. So one of the things is about growing as a coach. And in a lot of our ACC classes and things like that, we talk about the growing mindset versus the fixed mindset. And if you want to be agile, you really need a growing mindset. And they talk about going and reading books and doing stuff and taking some time to grow as an agile coach. And, it's like a really good point. And then I started thinking about, you look at the value of stuff out there today for an agile person or a coach who wants to become an agile coach or a scrum master or a product owner or anything like that. So you have books like this book, The Old Traditional Way. And sometimes it's nice just to hold a book in your hand versus electronics all the time. And it actually was a nice feeling to actually read a book, do something different, pick one of the books off my bookshelf and just start reading it. We have the digital, right? We have digital books. We have ebooks. We have LinkedIn as a great source. We got web videos like here on YouTube, like our show, 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Lots of now we have a lot of virtual meetups that are around the world, so you get to share ideas. There's classes like I teach the IC Agile classes. Trying to work on what I want to do with the safe stuff. And there's just lots of ways to learn and keep that growing mindset and different variations. And you don't have to do all one kind anymore. And it doesn't have to be always in a classroom. It can be virtual. It can be in person. I mean, this is like a smorgasbord of growing mindset capabilities. And they talk in there about that. It's like there's so much out there. It's an amazing time to be in a growing mindset, a growth mindset. So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, if you're a Scrum Master or someone or a project manager and they want you to be an Agile coach, read this book. It's really, the reason why I say it, because I'm like, yep, that's what I do. That's what I do. And I never read the book before. And it's very similar to my path on how I coach. I haven't gone through it all, but at least the first couple sections, what do you do day one? I'm like, yeah. And one of the things I was looking at, I built a spreadsheet of all my coaching engagements, all my managers I got to talk to, teams and everything. So as I'm doing these teams, I have 43 sessions that I got to go through just to say hello to people. introduce my coaching agreement, which maybe I'll do a show because I haven't done that in a while. Because I modified a little bit for each activity I go to. So I use my coaching agreement everywhere when I coach people, coach online, coach free, coach in an activity. But I like to share and meet and talk about and find out their expectations. It's really funny because in there I'm actually doing that. But anyway, it's a good thing. I'll talk about maybe on another episode. I'll write that down as what do I do when I do my coach engagements for an organization or enterprise. But right now I got 43 of them I'm scheduling. And I'm averaging, what is it? With just the ones I have scheduled or whatever, looking at it's like 10 hours. If I do half-hour sessions, 10 and a half, 11 hours right now of weekly one-on-one sessions. Some weeks it's more because some people are every other week. Some of the managers they do every other week, and then some product owners I do every week. I try to do Scrum Masters every week. But anyway, we'll talk about that on another day. So it's a lot of meeting people and getting out there and letting them know and build that trust between the two. And I'll do a couple shows on that. So because I'm going through that phase. So it's now's a good time to document it because it's fresh. So now the next topic. So we talked about growth mindset. Next topic is PI planning. And I do have a coaching session in about 15 minutes. So I want to get this done. I hope we're going to do it. So PI planning. So I wrote down, I got a question from Tom about outcomes and some common mistakes. So I want to talk about some outcomes. One of the main outcomes I see in PI planning, and this is maybe my project management side of my life that's kicking in, but also when I see all these companies that have built an organization the way they do, is the dependencies. One of the big things is identify dependencies between teams when they need stuff and things like that. A lot of times I've even actually seen, I think I talked about one of my episodes where I had a product owner for one group who's representing oh yeah, everything's green, right? And this is, I'm like looking, I'm like, oh God, you're crazy. Everything's green. And we have these dependencies and we got a team B and we got to go talk to team A. And then the team B goes, we haven't talked to you yet. And I'm like looking, I said, you just got snagged in a false out lie to the managers because you didn't want to look bad because, I mean, you could have just said, we have a dependency with team B and we're scheduling to meet with them later today. And that would be truthful. To be honest with you, that manager, I would never trust them, whatever they said ever in their lives after they said, and everything's green. Because as a real program project manager, if you have a risk like that you haven't circled back and met with the team on it and you said everything's green, I'd actually fire you. I'd be like, you should not be in this position. You should not be a project manager and I can't trust you. So go find a new job. Maybe I'm a little hard on that, but it's like my kid the other day. They're lying out their teeth. And I'm like, dude, I know you're lying to me. You're totally busted. So stop digging the ditch. Stop digging a hole. Anyway, but they did say that they had this, but they never met. So one of the key mistakes is I have a dependency and you're not taking advantage of PI planning to go over and agree with the other team on what the dependency is. Now, one of the keys in making it successful, in my opinion, which a lot of groups don't because and I kind of disagree with some of the things like, oh, we're just going to match features. I'm like, no. You're only planning 3 months. I'm sorry. So it's 6 quarters. And people want to do waterfall. So it's 6 quarters. I mean, six sprints, 3 months, 1 quarter. So it's 6 sprints. I'm like, why don't you agree on which sprint you're going to work on this dependency and actually put an issue in your system of record, whether it's Azure, Jira, Trello, I don't care. Rally, you should have a story in a sprint that matches and is linked to your story in a sprint so that you know where to communicate so that is actually you can build a dashboard and it comes up. So the mistake that's coming out of that part is, yes, they have a dependency. They haven't written it down in their system of record and physically linked it. All they have is written down on a piece of paper, which no one's going to go back to later on. So when you leave the PI planning, it's very important to have that link in your system working. So now you know everybody can see it. Everyone can see it without having to go into your individual team backboards to find the backlogs to go find it. So that's one mistake. That's a key. If you get to that level, your PI planning, your PI will be much more successful. I will tell you that. And that is something a lot of groups fail to do. They think they can just talk about it, write it out. I'm like, no, you got to have this. A lot of these bigger companies got to have the Scrum Master, somebody track that linkage, and people like me to watch it. So I do have 24 episodes of PI planning in the SIP system. So there's a lot of stuff out there, Tom. Just type in PA planning. I'm gonna make. I keep saying I'm gonna make shorts, but I got to make short ones. Common mistakes. So this is another common mistake. So that was a way to make it really productive. Make sure you have links for your dependencies by sprint, by story between the teams, so that you can reference that and easy build the dashboard stuff. Common mistakes. Managers don't actively engage in PI planning. That's a common mistake I see everywhere. Managers think their job is just to present something and talk about the sales thing, and then they disappear. Well, no, that's not your job. Your job is to walk around to team to team to team and find out how they're doing, communicate with them, check in with them, see how they're going during PI planning. That is a very big common mistakes that I see in these PI planning sessions, where the managers don't think it's their job to walk around the PI planning to meet with people. And in the virtual world, they should jump into meetings or just plan, let Scrum Master know that they're going to jump in on one of their virtual meetings and see how things are going. But that is a common mistake. I see that a failure among, and then they wonder why they don't know things. We just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars getting everybody in the PI planning room, and you're not walking around after spending all that money. That's another person I would fire, to be honest with you. I'd be like, if I was your boss and you just gave me a receipt for hundreds of, tens of thousands of dollars for your PI planning event, and you didn't walk around and meet everybody and face-to-face conversation with every freaking team that you have or people working on for you as a manager, I would fire you. Because I'd be like, you just wasted all that money and you didn't take the time to think about it, that it was a good time to interact with your people in your group. And then they said, no. I'm like, what do you think your damn job is? Your job is to manage and work with the people that work for you. And this is the time you have hundreds of people all in one area, and you can go and interface with them at this moment. And you didn't think you should do it. You think your job was just to stand up and speak up at a podium somewhere. I'd be like, are you mental? I can say that now because I don't work for some of these people that do this kind of thing. But I'm just saying, you're going to spend all that money and you're not going to walk around and meet all those people. That's a common mistake I see in every organization I see. They send them off, they approve the thing, but then they don't go. You just spent all that money. That is the worst common mistake I see in PI planning. Some are good at it. Some walk around. I could go in other stories I've seen. But anyway, that's what I got. So the two common mistakes are, one improvement is make sure you have dependencies in an issue state in one of your systems and have it linked to your issue state with the other team. That'll help your whole PI process. It's only 6 sprints. And if you can't tell me what sprint you're going to work on something, and for 6 sprints, I'm easily 6 sprints, not much. If you can't do that by your 3rd PI planning session, you got problems. And then the other one's common mistakes is managers don't go meet everybody during PI planning, even though they spent tens of thousands of dollars establishing this PI planning event. Call out managers on that one. I think that's a major flaw. Anyway, it's 14:42. Please ring the bell if you like your show. And I don't know what I do with my thumbs up. I had a thumbs up. It's gone. Give us a thumbs up on the show. I hope this helps you, Tom. I gave you 2 of them. If you can do those 2, I'm telling you, your PI planning will be like rockets, man. If you can do those 2 things I just gave you, you will be so successful. You will be amazingly successful. Just those 2 things. All right, take care. We're in the 15-minute mark. See you out. Bye. Happy scrumming. Bye.